Hello and welcome to another Indie Sunday. This week we're going to be playing the life and suffering of Sir Brante in times of the fall of the blessed Arcanian Empire. We have got two chapters, the first two chapters of the game, that are available to play right now. You can get them for free on Steam and try them out yourself if you want to. The game is apparently coming out sometime next year in full, and we're going to check it out. Not a lot of stuff you can do in the settings, just adjust volume and stuff like that, and the language, but let's get into it. The game is somewhat of a RPG that is mostly text-based as far as I can gather, with visual illustrations, of course. Enter our character's name. Sir Clementi Brante. Choose your name carefully. Other characters will address you exactly like this. Okay. Game mode. Chapter restarts. You'll not be able to go back to previous chapters and change your decisions. Yep, definitely. Consequences open. You will see the consequences of your possible choices in advance. You'll be able to direct the character's fate in a way you want. Or hidden. You will not see the consequences. You know what? It's a short preview of the game, basically. It's 2 chapters. And we probably won't have to live with the consequences of our actions, so we're doing them hidden. Let's go. Before you lies the story of a single man. You will take on the role of Sir Brante and determine his goal and fate in life, from his birth to his true death. Our hero is unfortunate enough to be born in a cruel and ruthless world, one that is different from ours in many ways that may not be immediately apparent. This means that you must be ready to learn the ways of this world one step at a time. Your every decision will affect our hero's personality and family, his friends and foes, and even the outcomes of important events. The decisions you make will ultimately influence the state of affairs throughout the nation. When given a choice, choose whatever feels right for the world and for yourself. How will you live this life entrusted into your care? Will Sir Brante turn the tide of history, or will he be ground into dust by the millstone of fate? This is for you to decide. I mean, it's still mostly for the game to decide. At the end of time, your fingers are stained with ink, your breathing grows ragged, your hands are shaking, yet the words begin appearing on the page before you one by one, clinging together to form a chronicle of your own life. Who are you, and how did you reach this end? So does that mean we can't die in-game? Probably. You were born, raised, and lived your entire life in the blessed Arcanian Empire. In this land, a man's destiny is predetermined at the moment of his birth. Whether human or Arcanian, nobleman, priest, or low-born commoner, all bend to the divine will of the twin gods. And each life is naught but a single cog in the universe's immeasurable machine. The memories come flooding back. They engulf you as a merciless wave, binding together days that are thrice dead and gone. The dreams of your childhood, your adolescence, your youth spent in the capital. Years of peace teeming with life, and a war drenched in blood. High ranks and lowly deeds, opulent palaces, secretive city backstreets, fields of battle, and faces, so many faces of the people you held dear, the people who walked this road by your side. Such was your life, now all exposed by ink erupting onto the page. With your every step you sought to change the world as you saw fit. The choices of your upbringing, the path you carved in your youth, the fruits of your struggle, the consequences of your sacrifice, all of it led you to here, to the end of your time. And every choice had a price. Now, years and years later, the crossroads of your life echo in your memory, the pain and joy inextricably intermingled. Could you have taken a different path, chosen a different calling, found a different place in the world? You had the power to alter the very course of history. Now, on the verge of death, you struggle with doubt, seeking answers to the last and most crucial question of all. Your life, of all the paths in life, why did you walk this one? Did you choose your own fate, or was your life shaped by forces beyond your control? What determines a man's destiny? The man himself, Your life has always been yours to live. You made your own destiny. The world around him, your path was charted for you by the people, the age, and the society in which you lived. A higher power, your destiny was forged by a power greater than your own will. Or, there is no destiny. Destiny does not exist. Human life is an exercise in chance. It is not governed by any laws. So we've got our first option here. Do I want to model this character after myself? Kind of. Just for this first option. There is no destiny. At the end of time, you stand tall and stare death in the face, unflinching. There was no higher power guiding your life. It was just a wild jig, a chaotic tangle of innumerable human wills, actions, and accidents. The only thing that could ever turn this chaos into an orderly narrative is the internal human drive for storytelling. Your life had no greater meaning. You were neither cursed by fate nor guided by providence. And this is what made you truly free. But are you right about this? Is it all true? To learn the truth, you will have to return to the very beginning, remembering every step you took along the way. On these pages, the story of a man named Calamity Brante will live once more. Childhood. Chapter 1. Childhood. Childhood, where life begins. First words, first unsteady steps. You are but a small child, learning about the world in which you were born. To you, everything is so new, so baffling, and so unforgiving. A long, trying life stretches before you. So many feats and faults, so many fateful choices to come. Yet you are already sowing the seeds of your future self. You are learning to live and survive in this world, looking for a place within it to call your own, choosing your future destiny. Who will you grow up to be? Important life events that may happen to you in this chapter. The fencing lesson, conditions determination above 4, or above or equal to 4, train with father. You dare to study fencing, like your father, even though you have no right to it by birth. Beyond, suffer your first death. Your first death and rebirth, okay? Insight. Perception over 4. Play with ants. You experience an insight when your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. Nobleman's sacrament. Willpower over 5. Kiss the sword. You challenge the sacred order and attempt to seize a noble lot. Okay. Your personal qualities at this age, they determine which choices you may take. We're spineless, we have no determination whatsoever. We are inattentive, we don't perceive anything. But we have quite strong willpower. Our remaining inner strength and readiness for action. I mean, I say quite strong. It's still here. We're untouched by death. After suffering a lesser death, one is reborn. One who dies a true death faces the judgment of the twin gods. Okay. The sections that open in this chapter. Destiny screen is now available. Personality screen, House of Brante screen, and the family screen. We'll have a look at that right away. Here are destinies. We've got 5 chapters apparently. Yeah, makes sense. First 2 are available, as I've said before. Personality, that's what we just had. Look pretty grown up for a newborn. The House of Brante. Reputation? So-so. Tarnished honor, but we did once have honor. We can make our way back there. Moderate means we do have money. Not a lot, but some. Unity. Peace, okay? And the heir is Stefan Brante. Okay? And our family, who is Stefan? Our brother, okay. Doesn't really look like a brother I get along with very well, but we'll see how he's like. No, he's apparently the son of his previous marriage, Amalia Elborn, who died. And I've got a sister as well, a blood-related sister. And we've got our grandfather right here. Okay. How do I actually get back? Back to scene there. Begin the chapter. Birth. At first, there was nothing. No time, no sensation, nothing but darkness and void. But then a will breathed life into nothingness. Matter and spirit were set in motion. History began its march. It was your turn to enter this world. Your first memory, you are lying on your back, blinded by a bright white light. You're not alone. Above you tower the colossal figures of those who created you. You are a part of them, and they are a part of you. Between you and them is an inexplicable connection, a strong, unbreakable link. They will always watch over you, guard you, and protect you. It hurts to breathe. You let out the pain in the form of a desperate scream. Your creators extend their hands toward you. There are two of them, the ones who made your form from their own selves and brought you into this world. They are united, yet as they lean closer, you begin to see how different they are. You can already feel their differences within you, struggling against each other. The first figure is soft and emphatic, wise and merciful. The love that emanates from it wraps you head to toe like an invisible blanket. The warmth from it is never-ending. The second figure is strong and powerful, commanding and noble. It is harsh but fair, a beacon of guidance, a force of protection, and merciless punishment for every misdeed. Yet there is also a third figure. It is like a shadow barely seen behind them, yet already pulsing with an unbreakable will to live. It is the very will to live that is now growing ever stronger within you. A soft, open palm, a strong closed fist, a lingering, distant shadow. You struggle to loosen the swaddling clothes wrapped around you and extend a tiny hand into the world. Am I reaching out to a mother, a father, or smiling at the figure standing behind them? I kind of want to smile at the shadow. Your first smile appears on your face, awkward yet genuine. Your mother and father exchange looks and start talking. You know no words yet, so all you hear is a sequence of booming sounds. But the stranger behind them has no need for words. The stranger's look is all it takes for you to feel the will to live and act that now burns within you. The shadow brings a finger to its lips, as if to say, "There, baby, don't cry. This is our secret now." And then the shadow melts into the light. Your life in this world begins. How will you live it? You go forward 1 year. Hide and seek. As the days go by, you learn to tell your parents apart. You recognize father by his heavy breath, strong and cold hand. He visits you rarely. Robert Brante. "Hello there, little Calamity Brante." Mother's tender voice, however, follows you day and night. "Ma, you're growing so quickly, my child." There are two more children in the family named Stefan and Gloria. Gloria sings songs to you. She often dresses you in tight clothing and gently holds your hands as you learn to take your first steps. Stefan likes to sweep you up and pinch you and toss you into the air. "Oh look, this is your brother and sister." "Yeah, you're my little brother. We're gonna play together, but I'll always be in charge because you were born a commoner." "Be quiet, you. He doesn't understand yet. Come on, baby Calamity. Let's go play in the yard." It is hot outside. You grip your brother's hand with one hand and your sister's with another as they help you walk down the giant stone stairs. Then you sit on the ground and start exploring the sparse blades of grass with your fingers. It tickles. In the sky far above and away from you is a gigantic pillar, a perfectly straight stick made of light. It is so bright it hurts to look at it. "Why are you staring at the shining pillar? It's not going anywhere, you know." Hey, I want to play hide and seek. He's just a little baby. How is he gonna play? Then you hide him, and I'll try to find both of you. You have no idea what they are talking about, but you support them with happy cooing. This is strange, but so exciting. Stefan and Gloria glance at each other. Then your brother walks to a big tree, closes his eyes, and starts shouting something. Gloria takes your hand and walks you through the yard. Your sister takes you behind some thick bushes by a tall wall. The light from that light stick on the horizon barely reaches here. You can't see home from this place. The ground is crawling with tiny black bugs. Gloria sits you down on the ground and puts a finger to her mouth for some reason, and then she's gone. You can no longer hear Stefan's voice. Gloria is nowhere to be seen. You feel colder. The bugs are no fun to play with. You've been sitting here for a long time, completely alone. Nobody checks on you. Did they forget about you? Did they abandon you? You can cry loudly, find a way home, or sit there and wait. Yeah, we're gonna sit there and wait. The bush is covered with leaves swaying in the wind. You brush through them with your fingers. The twigs and branches are stiff and will not bend. They're different from the blades of grass. Down on the ground you see a group of bugs carrying a little twig. You grab it from them. They're so funny. One of the bugs crawls on your finger and bites it, just enough to sting a little. You hear brisk steps, then the leaves and twigs rustling and parting. Your mother leans over you. You greet her with a happy face and show her the finger with the bug on it. So that's where they took you? Mother picks you up, puts you to her chest and pats you on the head. Your brother and sister stand behind her, clearly feeling guilty. Gloria is in tears. Stefan keeps staring at his feet. You hug Mother tightly. She's here now. Perception. Alright. The Great Descent. Another memory. You're still a little child, but you can already talk and run around on your own. Today's out of the ordinary. Father is busy around the house giving orders to the servants. Throughout the day, the kitchen has been abuzz with work. There are solemn, gloomy preparations and candles being lit. Even your older brother, Stefan, is quiet today. Mother takes your hand and brings you to your sister Gloria. My son, today is the Great Descent. We honor the day when the twin gods descended to us. We must spend this day in reverence to the gods. You're too young to understand, so just do everything your sister says for now. Gloria takes you to the playroom. There are no toys there, no chairs. Even the carpet has been taken away. There's nothing there but a bare wooden floor. Today we're not allowed to go to any other rooms, and we'll be eating nothing but gruel and stale bread. On the day of the Great Descent, everyone must be where they belong. It is quiet, unusually so. Muffled voices from beyond the door are all you can hear. You're sitting on the cold floor, confused, with no idea what to do. Then you hear your sister's voice, a lonely sound in the empty room. It is a little song that Mother taught her. You hold your breath as you listen to it. When the twins came down to earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them, 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Nobles rule and bravely fight, they protect us with their might. Priests work hard to understand, guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil, always patient, never spoiled. Live your lot where you were born, to the day when you pass on. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You are transfixed by the tune. Gloria notices your gaze and a smile creeps across her face. You like the rhyme, don't you, Calamity? Do you know what it's all about? Look, there are 3 lots. They were brought to us by the twins when they descended to us from the shining pillar. Remember that pillar of light on the horizon? That's it. You can see the shining pillar anytime, from anywhere in the world. If you follow your lot as you live, you'll reach the peak of the pillar, and if you don't, you'll get eternal torment at the foot. You and I are lowborn. Mom is a commoner too, so the lot for you and me is to suffer and be patient and work hard, understand? The priests and the nobles have other lots. The nobles fight and rule over everybody. The priests, well, I'm not really sure what they do, but I guess they talk to the twins and then teach everybody. Gloria stares at you intently. Did you get it, silly? Then she shakes her head and keeps singing her song over and over again. Her voice transfixes you, drawing you in. The room starts to glow like the sky. From this light emerge two figures you have known ever since the moment of your birth. One of them embraces your sister's shoulder, the other stands guard behind her back. You watch this happening before your eyes, unable to turn away. Gloria is swaying to the song, unaware of what is happening. She sings the final verses once more. Know your lot and know the prayer. You feel compelled by this divine sight to express yourself somehow. You feel words condensing within you from the light, but what will these words be? We're singing it wrong. Know your lot and know the prayer. The lots are lies told everywhere. You shout these words, but you have no idea how they came to you. The shining pair standing behind her back turn to look at you. You can feel their gaze piercing you from top to bottom. When a moment passes, they melt into the dim light coming from the window. Now Gloria is staring at you. You see disappointment in her eyes. Calamity, that's not the way the song ends. Why did you ruin it? You shrug, quite pleased with your cleverness. Certainly so. Spring, the origin. You're starting to understand more and more of what the adults say. Your family is an unusual one. Your father is a nobleman, but not by birth. His is a title earned through great service, but your mother is a low-born woman, a commoner. Because of this, you were born a commoner, but father says you may yet come unto nobility. You learn to read at an early age. Together with mother, you read and learn by heart the many poems about the divine twins, the twin gods who reside upon the shining pillar. Mother calls these poems prayers. Again and again, you try to discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of holy light that shines in the sky all day and night, but the light is too blinding to gaze upon. The greatest joy of all is when the stairs are no longer an insurmountable obstacle. Now you can climb and even jump from step to step. Father urges you to be more careful and avoid climbing too high, but even though you keep falling, you never stop being curious about the world around you. Your older brother Stephen now spends less and less time playing with Gloria and you. Playing with commoners is beneath a nobleman to be, he says. So Gloria calls him names and Stephen pulls her pigtails. One fine evening, Father gathers you all in the sitting room with an announcement. You will have another little brother or sister soon. Gloria asks him to bring home a little sister. Another brother would be too much. Stefan gets frustrated. There are too many little siblings getting in his way already. Soon you will be an older brother too, and it doesn't really matter who the youngest will be, boy or girl, you will love them the most. When Father comes back from his trips, he reads his adult books aloud for you. You find those stories of wars and generals and rebellions enchanting, and Father approves of your fascination. Study hard, and maybe one day you'll become a noble of the mantle and earn your sword. But first you need to grow up. Growing up. The concept is as terrifying as it is alluring. The loss of suffering. You keep staring at the carpet under your feet. You're both ashamed and proud, and it feels odd. A scratch in your hand stings a little. Stefan is standing next to you, sniffling from pain. Your brother was training in the yard with a wooden sword. You wanted to play with him, but he ended up getting angry and throwing the sword at you. The stick hit you in the shoulder. You picked it up and hit him with it. You see Mother's shoes walking to and fro on the carpet. You do not want to look up. You would rather not see her angry. She's not as gentle to you these days. Why did you hurt Stefan, Calamity? You stammer out an explanation. He hit you first, you just hit him back. How dare he pester me like that? When I grow up, I'm gonna hit you with a real sword. Mother shushes you both and speaks to you again. Her voice is stern, and yet you can still feel her concern for you. Even if Stefan hits you, you cannot hit him back. You're my son, and I was born a commoner.
Our lot is to suffer, but your brother was born from a noble father and a noble mother. His sacrament is coming soon, and then he'll rule over the likes of us. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. That is your lot, and the sooner you learn it, the better off our entire family will be."
Now Stefan looks at you in triumph. You look up at Mother in fear, not sure what to do. You continue to insist that you're not guilty and will not be punished no matter what. We could accept our punishment, but we're going to demand an explanation. You start asking questions. Why were you born a commoner if your father is a noble? If you have your father's name, why can't you have his lot? And why can't you choose a lot for yourself if you don't like the one you have? Mother is stunned by all the questions you're peppering her with.
"Don't you dare ask me about that, Calamity. I'll violate my lot if I start explaining it all to you. I'm a commoner, not a priest."
You're flogged in front of your entire family. The pain burns on your skin again and again. Tears keep rolling down your cheeks. It feels like the punishment will never end. It hurts to walk when you are finally let go. You slowly climb the stairs and walk to your room. You see a book on your bed, The Teachings of Eustathius, Volume 2. Your tears have dried now. You begin to read, slowly making your way through the difficult words. "Every death of the body bringeth the soul ever closer to the twins' judgment. And when the body dieth a true death, the soul soareth to the shining pillar. The twin gods do judge every soul, and their judgment is stern and unforgiving. He who followeth his lot in life from birth shall melt in bliss atop the peak of the shining pillar." The words confuse and elude you, instilling fear and awe. You will read this mysterious book again and again as you grow up. Gloria's Rhymes. Mother mostly stays in her chambers now. With each passing day she grows heavier and her features get rounder. It gets difficult for her to walk, but she still smiles all the time. One day she takes your hands and puts them on her big belly, and you feel a movement deep inside her. You will have another brother or sister soon. Gloria takes you on walks to the yard now. You explore the yard together under the evening light of the pillar, and she sings you songs and tells you amazing stories.
"Hey, Calamity, do you want to hear a rhyme? I wrote it myself. There's even a bit about you. But don't tell anyone, okay?"
Writing poems and songs is only for nobles. If Mummy hears about it, I'll get flogged. Wait, no, that's still hers.
"Writing poems and songs is only for nobles. If Mummy hears about it, I'll get flogged. Remember how you got flogged for hitting Stefan?" "Our church is my second father. In the past I had another. Mother says the twins are great, says we should not fight our fate. Brother loves to jump around, please don't fall down on the ground. See, I wrote a little rhyme, please don't tell them it is mine."
But today your sister is nowhere to be seen. She promised to take you to the old pond and show you the red frogs that live there, but then she vanished. The servants join you in your search. Even Mother leaves her chambers when she hears the commotion. Finally you find Gloria in the far corner of the garden. She's holding a quill and sheets of paper covered in poetry. Mother becomes angry the moment she sees it. She looks through the poetry and her face grows dark with rage. Gloria is standing before her, wringing her hands and looking for an opportunity to run, but there seems to be no escape.
"What is this nonsense, Gloria? We talked about this. You were told to take care of your little brother. You're absolutely not allowed to entertain yourself with this writing." "I can decide that for myself, Mom." "No, you cannot. It has already been decided by the gods." "And he's not a little brother anymore. He doesn't need a nanny. And I need some time alone to think for myself. I'm not hurting anyone." "You are a commoner and a future wife. It's time you learned how to properly care for children. Had your disgraceful former father kept me in his house, you could have been born a noble. But that is not our fate, and you are absolutely forbidden from ever spoiling paper and wasting ink again."
Mother grabs Gloria firmly by the hand and takes you both into the house. The scribbled sheets fly into the fireplace. Gloria sobs violently. You're a bystander to this scene, unsure of how to act. We can't complain about our sister because our determination is not high enough. We can offer to write rhymes with her. We can comfort her, or we can leave the room. We'll comfort her. Mother leaves. The last of your sister's poetry burns away in the fireplace. You walk up to your crying sister and take her by the hand. None of this is her fault, you say. What Mother did is wrong and far too harsh. Gloria sniffles before speaking.
But I did leave you all alone. You're not mad at me, really?
You nod in reassurance. Gloria embraces you.
Calamity, you're the best little brother in the world.
The two of you make a little deal. She promises to tell you when she wants to be alone, and you promise to protect her and her secrets, always. Alright, status gratitude. Nice. A willpower dropped. Okay, so I see how it works. 4 years now. Year 1122. Winter. The coming sacrament. Mother is in her armchair, knitting woolen jackets, pants and socks for the little one. The baby will need to be kept warm, she says. Father spends less time at home now. Mother says he's very busy with his important job. He's a judge, after all. One day, you decide to ask Mother about Stefan and Gloria. How come they're brother and sister to you, but not siblings to each other?
Well, my dear, I didn't give birth to Stefan, you see. He's the son of another mother, and Gloria is the daughter of another father. Come now, don't knit your brow like that. You'll understand when you're older.
How is that even possible? You're all family, aren't you? Several days later, Mother calls Stefan and Gloria to the sitting room. You sneak in after them. At first, Mother gets angry and asks you to leave, but then she relents. You're told to sit still, be quiet, and remember every word you hear.
When you enter the temple, bow to the twins. First to the elder on the right, and then to the younger on the left. Stefan, you're a nobleman to be, so walk along the side paved with marble where the benches are. Gloria, you walk along the sharp side. When you're there, you must get down on your knees, each on your own side. Stefan, kiss the sword. Gloria, my daughter, they will strike you with the lash. Don't be afraid of it. Resign yourself to the suffering it brings. It is the blessing of your lot.
Gloria doesn't like the idea of the lash. There's a tense feeling in your chest as well. You were told to remember this. Will the lash strike you too one day? On the next day, they will take your brother and sister to the temple. You run towards them when they finally come back. The back of Gloria's dress is soaked with blood. She's hunched a bit, sobbing quietly. Stefan is putting on airs, acting prouder than ever. Nothing else looks different about them. It's like everything's the same, and yet nothing is the same anymore. Each of them has accepted their lot. Okay. Unity -1 disagreements, that makes sense. Brother and sister sacrament. Your siblings Stefan and Gloria took their first sacraments at the temple. The newborns cry. You eye the little bundle in your father's arms with curiosity. Behind the many layers of swaddling clothes is your newborn baby brother. Mother is glowing and smiling with joy. Stefan and Gloria are also here, all excited. You promise yourself you're going to be the best big brother in the world. You'll never hit him, oh no. The two of you will play together and tease Stefan together and help Mother together and go on so many adventures together. It feels so strange to be an older brother. Just the other day you were the youngest in the family, but everything is different now. Your parents name your little brother Nathan, and Mother spends day and night by his side. Nathan cries all the time, day and night. Mother barely gets any sleep. She's so worn out she starts forgetting things. Like today, for instance, she forgot her knitting in the armchair in the sitting room. You'd better bring it back to her as soon as possible. You run to Mother's bedroom. You miss her smile so much. You walk in without saying hello and give her the knitting, but instead of gratitude you get an ice-cold, exhausted stare. Nathan is also there, screaming all the time.
Go away, Calamity, you're bothering me.
She spits these words out through her teeth. You look at the bawling newborn. She can't even get a minute of respite.
Enough already, when are you going to stop? I just want some peace and quiet.
Mother leaps across the room and starts shaking Nathan with malice in her eyes. His cries get even louder. She looks so tired from his never-ending screams. She seems to be within an inch of smashing him against the wall. Somebody has to do something. You're scared of your mother right now, but you fear for Nathan's life much more. Okay. Right, it's ours now. Give him. You leap at your mother and demand she give you Nathan. She freezes when she hears the words. You snatch your little brother out of her arms. She chokes with rage and falls on the bed screaming. You run away to the playroom. Your baby brother is heavy in your arms. He sniffles. You sway him gently like Mother did and quietly sing him a lullaby about the twins. Nathan calms down. Soon he closes his eyes. You put the newborn on your bed and swear on your life that no one will ever hurt him when you're around. You hear heavy footsteps in the hallway. Father enters the playroom. He looks at you, then at Nathan, somewhat confused. You did something bigger than you today, son. It is a noble deed to protect your family, but you should have come to me. Please understand, this was my duty, not yours. You saved your baby brother from harm. If you feel yourself ready to take the responsibility to protect others, then maybe you can walk the path of the noble when you're older. But for now, we should bring him back to your mother. Come with me. He picks Nathan up. Your brother is fast asleep, breathing quietly. The three of you return to Mother's bedroom. Father puts Nathan back in the crib. Mother is no longer screaming. She embraces you.
Please forgive me. The twins know I was out of my mind. Please don't be angry with me.
You hug Mother in response. Nathan, you were just born. Why do you look like that? Why do you have so much hair? Alright. Your younger brother Nathan is born. Toy soldiers. You wake up to Father's touch on your shoulder. He's finally back home after a long trip. Calamity, today is your special day, the day when you begin your studies. Now teachers will be coming to our home to teach you, and you must do everything they say. Be diligent in your studies, and you will grow closer to the nobleman's lot. Since you must remember this day, a present is in order. Lydia, get our little schoolboy dressed. I'm taking him to the market district. Stefan wants to come with you too, but Father shushes him sternly. This is your day. Your elder brother is hurt to hear this, but stays quiet. An open carriage takes the two of you through the dusty, noisy city streets. A pleasant wind tussling your hair. Your city is called Anizot, that you already know. It is one of the largest cities in the entire empire. There's a big shadow on the street. It comes from the white foliage of an enormous tree that spreads its branches all above the city. My son, did you know that the silver tree grew from the blood of our god's own disciples? It has been growing here for hundreds of years, right in our city. It cannot be damaged or burned, not even the clergy know why. The carriage comes to a halt by a small shop next to a city square. You run there and freeze by the stalls in excitement. The shop is packed with dolls and figurines and toys. You've never seen so many at once before. Have you chosen your present yet? Father asks. You have. You want the Holy Order set, which includes several figurines of the Empire's greatest warriors of all time. You rattle off everything you know about the Holy Order. They were the ones who aided the Emperor's own forces in seizing the province of Magra and storming our city. That's how we joined the Empire. Father nods in approval. Very well. War isn't your lot for now, but maybe these toy soldiers will teach you to think like a general. We will lead them into battle and study military strategy. Go ahead, take your presents. Having said this, Father turns away to examine the books. You run to the box of toy soldiers, delirious with excitement. But there is a fancy-dressed boy in your way. He's about to take your warriors for himself. He elbows you aside and reaches for the box. Anger overcomes you and you push him from behind. Your opponent falls to the floor. The rich boy screams so loudly everybody in the shop hears it. He hit me! He hit me! A tall tower of a man looms over you. This is the boy's father. But then you feel your own father's hands on your shoulders. What happened? You press against father, your mind more at ease now. He will protect you. Yes, you shoved the boy to the floor in front of everyone, but he tried to take your present for himself. Father turns you around to face him when he hears these words. Is this true, Calamity? Did you strike the son of a nobleman? It isn't fair to blame you for letting you speak too. You didn't want to shove that stupid boy, he was the one who shoved you first. But the angry nobleman, the boy's father, will not let you finish. Nobody cares a whit for your so-called truth, little lowborn. The law is the law and your punishment is due. Your father nods in agreement to these words, no matter how sad they may make him. They lead you and the nobleman's son out of the shop. You're told to bow to him and show humility. A bad feeling sends a shiver down your spine. With a satisfied grin on his face, the boy swings his arm and slaps you on the cheek. He strikes you again and again. Enough. You got what you deserved. We're leaving. Get out of our way. Your head is swimming from the heavy blows. You return to your senses back in your bed, with servants treating your face. Father stays by your side all day. The morning after, you find a little box on your bed with the tin soldiers of the Holy Orders inside. You paid dearly for your stubbornness. (11:24) Summer. The family dinner. Today, Father ordered the dinner table to be brought out into the yard. For the first time in months, he's home, outside of the confines of his always locked study. He spent the entire day playing with Nathan and you, discussing various matters with Stefan, now an adolescent, and walking in the garden. And now at dinner under the open sky. Your entire family gathers together, with Father at the head of the table, smiling. He asks each of you about your studies. Nathan climbs up on his knee and recites a counting rhyme in a funny, sing-song voice. Stefan mentions that his fencing teacher praised his accomplishments. He rises from the table together with Father to show his skill in a practice duel. Next comes Gloria's turn. She stands on her chair and recites a lengthy prayer by heart. Mother showers your sister with praise. Father chuckles quietly, hiding a smile in his moustache. When your turn comes, you recite all the ranks in the Legion, from common soldier to high commander. Stefan listens to you with a skeptical look on his face. Night slowly falls, but the servants ensure that the yard is well illuminated. You don't feel cold in the dusk tonight. It feels so good, so important. All of you are finally together, sitting at the same table. No fights, just smiles. No arguing, just pleasant small talk. Then a servant approaches Father with a letter in his hand. He reads it in the dim light, and each line washes the smile off Father's face until only a stone-cold mask remains. Mother looks at Father with an unspoken question in her eyes. Gregor Brante is coming back to Anisot. He's the head of our family, my father. Ooh. Your grandfather, Gregor Brante, returned to the family home from the capital. The Intrusion. Ever since the news of grandfather's impending arrival, there has not been a single day when the house has not been cleaned or decorated. Your parents anxiously make sure everything is in order. They tell you to wash your face and hands after walks and scold you for leaving books on the floor. They tell Gloria she will be flogged if she's ever seen hiding in the attic. They make Stefan stay in his room. Even baby Nathan gets in trouble. Everyone is on edge. Then one day grandfather arrives. It is a grim day, so hot your neck is sticky with sweat. Father, Mother, Stefan, Gloria, you and Nathan. The entire Brante family stands on the porch in front of the house. The house servants lined up behind you. The carriage arrives, and out steps a tall, gaunt old man with a heavy walking stick and a heavier gaze. You cringe instinctively. Good health to you, Father. Children, greet your grandfather as you have been taught.
Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the Brante family to be ennobled by the mantle, and I'm the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly.
I live honorably by my lot.
Your marriage to that low-born wench cut us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood.
Father, I beg you, this is not the place. Grandfather eyes him with scorn and walks into the house, the entire family following close behind him.
I've been away far too long. The entire house is a mess. This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to your commoner of a wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honor?
They are being raised in a virtuous family, Father.
And now you're speaking like a lowborn who's content to live in humility. Twins willing, now that I'm here, this will not happen again. I'm taking your oldest son to the capital. I see you cannot provide Stefan with a proper education, so I will correct your mistake.
Your brother's fate has been decided, just like that. Father does not object. He orders the servants to prepare Stefan for the journey. Stefan freezes in place, glancing at grandfather and father again and again. The latter puts a hand on his shoulder reassuringly. Grandfather's lips are a tight line, white with contempt. The house is examined, room after room. Everything grandfather sees is showered with scorn. He scoffs at a crease on a blanket in Nathan's crib and mother's bedroom. He mocks Gloria's knitting in her room. The door to your room is next.
What is this, Robert? 10 soldiers in your younger son's room? He was born a commoner. I won't have him daydreaming of battle.
Grandfather seizes the box containing the 10 warriors of the Holy Order. Your father stays silent. Anger and fear boil within you. This is your big present from the first day of your studies. It means so much to you. But what if he's right? What if you need to prove your right to command the toy soldiers first? Grandfather shakes his head in disapproval and shoves the toy box into a roaring fireplace. If you wait too long, they will melt in the flames. Our perception determination is clearly not high enough. I mean, striking grandfather. You know what? I could imagine. If we strike grandfather, there's a couple of options there. One of those options is he takes us with him as well, because clearly our father did not give us a proper education either. The other option is, well, we're dead. But what will bursting into tears accomplish? I just want to see what will happen. Overwhelmed by helpless rage, you run to your grandfather and kick him in the leg with all the strength you can muster. Yet he is immovable. The next thing you see is him leaning, towering over you menacingly, his heavy walking stick in hand.
Low-born scum, how dare you raise a hand to me?
The blow hits home. The handle of the walking stick is as heavy as a rock. You're dazed, robbed of both hearing and sight. Down comes another blow. A sharp pain splits your head, then darkness. Your hand twitches against your will, then again and again, like it is trying to catch a flying butterfly. And then you fall into the primordial void. The void takes away a part of you, one of the lives you were given to live. It will never return. There is pain and desperation and a sense of loss. Nothing can be done now. Well, we got death. I can't say I wasn't expecting it. You fall into a pain that embraces you like a soft feather bed. You feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelops you in its secure embrace. The waves carry you. Their touch is soft. They delicately enshroud what was once your body. It is a feeling unlike anything you have ever experienced before. Something absolute and complete. You touch something greater, the reason behind everything, the reason for your very existence. You were sculpted from this light. It was the first thing you ever felt, a boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. Your beginning was a spark that cast its light in all directions, and now you are here again, one with the beginning of everything. The light gleaming from you resembles the light of the shining pillar. You still see it in the north, as always. The waves of light carry you to two figures. The elder is nearest. He is ready to accept you. He is quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. You do not know what he is yet. The waves pause at the elder's feet. He leans over you and plants a feather-light kiss on your forehead. The kiss spreads all over you. You're filled with unparalleled delight and bliss. You exist. You're unique. There is no one else like you. They notice and they love you. You will never be alone. You are a part of them, a part of your family, a part of this universe. The twin gods will never leave you. They watch over you constantly. The elder softly touches you as you lie spread out amongst the waves, sending you further down the torrent of light. You float on to the top of the silver tree's spreading crown. The closer you get to the silver tree, the heavier you become. The waves draw you down along its trunk, but you do not wish to part with the warmth and the softness, with the love. You turn around. The elder is still watching you. He nods. All is as it should be. Go. Your time has not yet come. You must return to the world now. As you tumble down toward your body, you comprehend the true meaning of your lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to you. Love exists not only in the hereafter. It is present in the entire design of the twins that is the origin of all life in this world. What is the manifestation of this love in your mortal life? The Empire, the Lots, family, cause, yourself. A sudden comprehension of the love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates your mind, but then it fades away and vanishes. You regain the sensation of your flesh. It is heavy and unwieldy. It lacks that lightness, that light. It is a burden. It is smothering you. You gasp for air. Your chest expands painfully. You feel as though your lungs are about to burst. The stagnant odor of the crypt fills them, revolting but so real. You're back. Then you smell a sickly moist smell. You feel dampness all around you. You come back to your senses in the gloom of the family crypt, lying flat on a stone slab. Your parents are on their way to the crypt right now. You hear their muffled voices. They are arguing, and against all rules, Mother will not agree with Father.
Why should Sir Gregor do this? He just took one of our child's lives.
Lydia, my father is our family's head, and the boy raised a hand to him. There was nothing we could do, and Father did admit that he was too hard on him. Please do not anger Sir Gregor. You need to accept this. It will never happen to any of our children ever again.
The voices grow quiet as they lean over you. You lean on your elbows to try and get up from the stone. Mother gingerly wraps her cloak over your naked body as you shiver from the cold.
My son, your first death came far too soon. I know it may be difficult to realize what happened, but know this, the twin gods are ever merciful. You are a child, and your time to leave for the hereafter has not yet come. You will be returned here by the gods twice more, but do not tempt fate again, and never ever defy those who can easily take your life. Calamity, you have angered your grandfather greatly. Do not stand in Sir Gregor's way ever again, and he will never hurt you again. For now, just stay away from him.
Father stays a step away from you, not saying a word. When Mother finishes talking, he picks you up and carries you outside. Together, your parents take you from the family crypt. On your way out of the crypt, you take a moment to touch your head. It's perfectly fine. There is no sign of the blow. Back home, Grandfather is still walking through the house examining the rooms. You can see that Stefan and Gloria are disturbed by what just happened. Nathan starts crying when he sees you. The playroom still reeks of burnt paint. There's something new about you now. A pitch black stripe on your left arm. It looks a bit strange. It looks like a strange bit of dirt at first, but it will not wash off. It will be like that forever, Mother explains. That is all she will say of it. Determination and perception increased, that's nice. And we've died once. beyond events happened. As a small child, you suffer your first death and rebirth. (11:24) Fall. The master of the house. Soon, grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stefan goes with him. From that day on, father's hired teachers tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures on writing, counting, and the way of life of the blessed Arcanian Empire. You often distract yourself from their instruction by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home grows quiet without your elder brother. Too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stefan. Grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles, and he is now studying hard in preparation for his service as a nobleman.
The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We're learning how to live as nobles in a society of nobles. We're also learning the art of swordplay. That's my favorite part.
With Stefan now at the boarding school, grandfather arrives once more. This time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eterna, the capital of the empire, and has to travel there. One day you ask mother where he lived before.
In Eterna, she says, but now his place is here.
Each time grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating grandfather's chambers, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes father tries to gently talk him out of this. Why subject the house to constant reconstruction? Grandfather's answer is always the same.
This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of the nobility.
An illustrious guest. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight. But there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She's been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table, where nobody used to sit before.
Robert, it is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments.
Sir Brante, please let them live free of the lot for a while longer. They are but...
Shut your mouth. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It is time you considered a real marriage, Robert, one to a woman of the proper station.
Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down mother's cheek. Father does not look away from the plate, his hands clenched into fists.
Baroness Oloda is such a woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use proper support and a husband. You can keep your lowborn lady around if you like. Servant, cap, woman, lover, I don't care.
I will not do that, father.
I am the head of this family, and the family standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of beautiful Amalia born for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? But now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me.
Father nods curtly, trying not to look in mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stefan.
If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She is coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared.
Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin, throws it onto his plate and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak to mother in private. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts a crease on the woolen blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stefan's departure, so you are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight, you can see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it.
My son, Baroness Emma Oloda, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down.
On the next day, mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You see red all around her eyes. She has been crying, and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublets, your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hooves against the cobbles in the yard. Then a pair of dainty heels come clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still, fearing Grandfather's observant eye. The door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady Allodar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. No one even bothers to introduce Mother.
Baroness, allow me to introduce you Robert's sons, Calamity and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest Stefan who deserves the most attention, but currently is studying in Eterna with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day.
Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here next to your mother, your father's rightful wife? Greet politely. Walk away. Not advised. Greet her politely. You follow Father's example and kiss the Baroness's fingers gently. Her laughter fills the antechamber, ringing like chimes. You gallantly offer to lead her to the sitting room. Lady Allodar graciously agrees. Behind your back you can hear Mother sobbing. Grandfather and Baroness Allodar engage in small talk over dinner. She tells him of the woes of litigation over her late husband's inheritance, and he advises her like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. You do your absolute best to behave yourself. After the decorous farewells to Lady Allodar, Father quietly thanks you for your model behavior. The morning after he leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stefan. Mother spends almost an entire day in her bedroom. You cannot bring yourself to speak to her. Father returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently Grandfather has already poisoned Stefan's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baroness Allodar is never mentioned in the house again. Alright. Okay. Reputation increases. Good. Yeah, unity. Huh. That's never gonna go well anyway. The kaleidoscope. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. Once he becomes so annoyed, he says that he wishes Stefan had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear these words from your father of all people. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. It feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room, across from the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandpa treats you? Oh, that's me, you ask. Gloria just shrugs.
Grandfather always says that she would get rid of me. I'm used to it now. He hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way, that's it.
She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day.
Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. Want to see inside?
Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole on one end of the tube. Your eyes sees a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You are riding at the front of the fiery horsemen, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines, and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending, secretive and calm and peaceful, just like Father's smile before Grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold radiating gentle warmth, like Mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned and time slips away unchecked, but you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how you try. You are caught in an inner conflict. There is so much that can be done with this kaleidoscope. Should you take it apart, or ask Gloria how it works, or keep enjoying the patterns it shows you? But you still have lessons to do today. Keep playing with the kaleidoscope. Take the kaleidoscope apart. I mean, she'd get mad at that, wouldn't she? You know, I want to take it apart. You examine the kaleidoscope as curiosity overtakes you. There is something strange rumbling around inside it. It has to be a mystery of some kind. You're dying to figure it out, itching to understand how it works. You rip away the wooden cylinder on the white end of the kaleidoscope. Inside, you see 3 elongated mirrors put together to form a triangle. The transparent glass shield falls out and onto your knees. A bunch of glittering, tiny glass baubles scatter on the table. There was nothing infinite inside it, you realize. It was just a clever trick. With a heavy heart, you go to your sister's room and confess to breaking the kaleidoscope. Gloria is sad but not angry with you. She asks you to promise never to take her things apart again. You promise. Alright, we do not have willpower anymore. But we're inquisitive now. The Ant Farm. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met, perception. Alright. Your younger brother Nathan is growing. Mother spends more time with the rest of the family now. You help her and play with your brother, and take care of him when she asks. You often go to Mother's room to sit at the foot of her bed after Nathan falls asleep. She reads you the sacred books and asks you about the things you learned that day. During these moments you see the world through her eyes as well. One day the door of your room opens and she brings in a large box covered with a piece of cloth. It is rare for you to see her so overjoyed. She sets the box on the floor and removes the cloth. The box under the cloth is made of glass and has a wooden base. Inside you see a layer of earth shaped into carefully crafted passages, and these passages are full of hard-working ants.
Calamity, this is my gift to you. An ant farm. It's a little world in a small box. We can watch them through the glass. Look, this is the queen ant. She's the reason all these little ants were born.
You sit by the box together. You hold your breath as you watch the ant colony at work. There turns out to be a method to the ants' chaotic movements. Every single one of them has a task to perform. Some of them have larger mandibles. They are the protectors of the colony. They can draw blood from your finger. Others work all around the colony, repairing the walls and clearing any debris from the passages. There are also workers who collect food you put in a special tray, leaves, bits of meat, maggots, and bring it to the rest of the colony. You take a worker ant and put it right next to the food. However, the insect has no interest in it. It starts circling around the tray aimlessly. Mother takes the stray ant and puts it back where it belongs.
Why did you do that, my son? The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each of them was born for their own job.
You shake your head slowly. If only the ants could do whatever you wanted them to. This is your gift now, so they belong to you. Or maybe Mother's presence is the reason they won't obey you. Yeah, we're playing by ourselves. We want to experiment. You move away from Mother and pull the glass box toward yourself. She looks at you in surprise, but she gave it to you. It'll be easier to learn about the ants on your own. Mother sighs and stands back up.
Very well, I understand. You want to find your own answers. You've grown up so quickly, my son.
The door creaks quietly as it closes, and you are left to your own devices. You spend a long time watching the ants at work, and then you decide to go outside and find them some bugs to feed on. Once your haul is in the tray, you note which bugs they drag away and which they leave untouched. Day after day, you keep the tray full of food, provide the insects with plenty of water, and remove dead ants from the farm. Your tiny subjects still refuse to change their peculiar ways. It is just as Mother said. The ant farm is exactly like the world we live in. The ants will never know that you are there. More perception. Insight, and it happens. You experience an insight when your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. Sweet temptation. Grandfather's visits are no longer a cause for fear and panic in the house. He has become something you are used to. Something nagging yet not unordinary, like a splinter or a stain on your trousers. The tension still remains, however. Grandfather's disdain for everyone in the house is so palpable it almost stings for real. Your lessons with the tutor are done for today. You're walking down the stairs when you spot Gloria peeping into the sitting room through a slightly open door. You sneak up on your sister and tap her lightly on the shoulder. She's startled.
Oh, it's you, Calamity. Look, Grandpa's eating something.
Grandfather is sitting on the sofa, flipping through a book with one hand and reaching for a glass bowl with another now and then. Inside the bowl you see candied fruit, a sweet confectionery forbidden to the common estate, like all sweet things. Yet Grandfather's face shows no pleasure as he keeps consuming the high-born treats. The clock strikes 3. Grandfather rises from his seat, puts away the bowl on a shelf and leaves for the yard. He always takes a walk in the city at this time. Gloria nudges you with her elbow and looks at the candy bowl when you look at her. The first emotion you feel is fear, but next comes curiosity, and it is stronger. Stefan used to boast that candied fruit tastes incredible, and now you have a perfect opportunity to try it. You try candied fruit first. The sugar starts to melt as soon as you put it on your tongue. It is so sweet. You have never eaten anything as good as this. You take the whole bowl off the shelf and give it to your sister. She takes the fruit and brings it to her mouth, carefully like a rare treasure. There is a thumping on the stairs, footsteps accompanied by the knocking of a walking stick. You have no idea why, but Grandfather is back. You quickly hide behind the sofa and pull Gloria after you, but she is frozen in place with the bowl in her hands. The door opens. Grandfather's menacing figure advances on Gloria. His hand seizes her arm.
You squalid, ungrateful, low-born child. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? You and your trollop of a mother would be sleeping in a ditch if it weren't for my spineless son. The sweet and pleasant things in life are for the noble estate, not for the likes of you. Did you forget your lot?
His hand swings and hits Gloria in the cheek. She falls to the floor right next to where you are hidden. Her fingers glisten with the warm melted sugar that brought you here. Grandfather advances again, his walking stick ready, but then he sees you huddling behind the armchair.
Please don't hurt him, Sir Brante. This is all my fault. He tried to stop me.
You can already see a bruise on Gloria's cheek. This is only the beginning of her punishment. Gloria was caught red-handed, unlike you. You can still avoid your punishment.
What is it then, Milksop? Did you try the sugar too? Or were you trying to stop this piece of filth like she says?
That's not gonna happen. Yep. Sorry, Gloria. We've already died once. You stand up and start talking. Yes, Gloria was telling the truth. You were trying to stop her. Grandfather tilts his head as he keeps you transfixed by his inhospitably bitter gaze.
Then why did you hide behind the armchair like a petty thief?
It was all Gloria, you tell him. She told you to hide. Gloria looks at you with pain and disappointment when you say this. Grandfather nods, satisfied by your answer. He tells you to stay and watch him punish Gloria. For the first time in your life, you see somebody else being punished. Her skin split apart by Grandfather's walking stick, her clothes getting soaked in blood as she writhes in agony. Night comes, but Gloria's sobbing keeps you awake. You go to her bedroom and try to calm her down, but a muffled "Go away" is her only reaction. She lied to Grandfather for you, so why is she angry with you now? Mother takes Gloria to church next morning. They return late in the afternoon and Gloria begs Father on her knees for forgiveness. She will never ever take what she does not deserve by birth, she pleads. She does not look at you, not even once. Good, more willpower. The sacraments. Father and Mother have been focused on Nathan and you since early morning. Instead of breakfast, you are told to say your prayers, wash your hands and faces, and get dressed in plain white shirts. Today is the day of your sacrament.
Mother, I want to go play in the yard. No playing today. You and Calamity are big boys now. It is time for you both to have your first sacrament. No one can live without a lot. I don't want a lot.
Be quiet and listen. You're a born commonist, so you must accept the low-born lot before the twins. When you grow up, you will get a chance to earn a noble lot.
Father and mother take you to the carriage. Nathan is hungry. He starts whining. Grandfather is the last to get in the carriage. His eyes are on you and your brother, looking for every fault. Soon the carriage is moving along the streets of Anisot, slowly and solemnly. One more turn and you see the colossal white building marked by 2 massive pillars. For the first time in your life, you are to enter the Church of the Twin Gods. You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into 2 halves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the lowborn estate shall suffer in the house of the faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar, where you and other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He's scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for he now belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat of the blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive the sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him towards the altar and throws him on the jagged floor on the lowborn side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red around him.
I don't want to. Calamity, why do they want to whip me? What did I do?
You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulders. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labour and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh thy first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees, presumably, and feel the sharp stones below. So sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Thus thou accept thy lot. Catch the lash. Oof. Kiss the sword. Oh. Is that about to be our second death? That is so shameless. I just really want to do it. The whip slices through the air, about to strike, but your eyes are transfixed by the blade the priest holds in his other hand. You jump up and away. The lash misses you. You grab the blade with your hands. It cuts into them without mercy. The priest wrenches it away from your bloody fingers. You look him straight in the eye. I am Calamity of House Brante. The priest freezes in shock. You seize this moment to pull the sword closer and kiss the smooth cold blade. You hear cries of outrage among the churchgoers. Mother prostrates herself on the jagged floor, racked with fear. Father remains still, baffled by what you have just done. But grandfather looks at you intently, as though truly seeing you for the first time. There is a semblance of respect in his gaze. You are forced back to the commonest place at the altar. The acolytes seize you by the arms and legs and keep your face bent closely to the bloody, jagged stones on the floor. The lash strikes your right shoulder, then your left shoulder. Then you are told to rise. You are a commoner. Mother takes your hand and leads you out of the church. Once you are outside, she scolds you for being insubordinate and bringing shame to your family. Nathan holds your hand as you walk, his tearful face a mixture of confusion and awe as he looks into your eyes. But you do not feel as though you have made a mistake. You did what was right for you. Nice, that went a whole lot better than I thought it would. We're exhausted now, yeah. We have no willpower left. You have taken your first sacrament and received the commoner's lot. Nobleman's sacrament. Kiss the sword. Yep, you challenge the sacred order and attempt to seize a noble lot. Year 1125. Childhood's end. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into. But Father keeps telling you to study hard so you may yet earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stefan still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it beneath him to write to the commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. But most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is this just him, or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You're older now, and what's more, you're an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in the bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over. End of Chapter 1, Childhood. Important life events that had happened to you in this chapter. Yeah. We died. Certainly true. These things happened. Determination is 3. Perception is 5. Willpower is -5. And we've been dead once. Alright. But I'm going to assume it auto-saves because otherwise it just wouldn't make sense and I haven't seen the save option. So, we're going to end it here. I'm definitely going to play through Chapter 2. Probably, I'll have to look at how long this was. I have no actual clue. We'll definitely play through Chapter 2, and what sort of format and when you will see that probably depend a bit. But I hope you enjoyed watching this week's Indie Sunday. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.